It's the follow through here. I am Clay Mercer, and with me is the head coach of ECSU men's basketball, John Richardson III. The Vikings coming off of a difficult 57-48 loss to Bluefield State. Coach, before we get into it, your overall thoughts on how this contest went here today.
Clay, like I told Karina downstairs, we got to put the ball in the basket. We have some guys now that are second guessing themselves. The shots, I thought, for the most part, were good shots. I mean, we had a few that were ill-advised, but I thought for the most part in that first 15 minutes or so in the first half, I thought we took quality shots. You just got to put the ball in the basket. In the second half, we tried to really try to be aggressive and get downhill, and we missed some layups. And then confidence is something. When you start to lose confidence, and you can see it in their eyes, you just try to encourage them. There's nothing that you can do to try to help them, but just tell them to just keep shooting. A guy like Trevor Smith, I know he's fully capable of making shots in bunches, but he struggled, tonight. Offensively. I thought defensively though, I mean, shoot, when you hold a team under 40% from the field and you out rebound them by whatever margin, you give yourself a chance to win. And even as bad as it was offensively, we really we really had our chances, to really get back in and put some heat on them. But at the end of the day, you got to put the ball in the basket, and we just didn't do it.
There was a period of time where Bluefield State went on a little bit of a drought, and that opened up the window maybe a couple of times, really, for ECSU. But again, shooting that basketball at the clip that you're shooting it, and for the Vikings, 31% from the field. Bluefield State only shot it about a little under 38% from the field. But again, the shooting just not where you want it to be. Is that something that you feel is a confidence situation from your players who are second guessing, and you feel like that's something that they can shoot themselves out of, or just kind of get that confidence back? What will it take to get it for them?
I just think that's a lot of repetition. I think and game reps in practice. I think these guys are starting to understand now that you have to do a little bit extra, and they have access to be able to do that, but you just can't turn it on and off, and then perfect practice and preparation will promote an opportunity for you to do well in the game. And I think we have to learn that lesson of being able to be prepared, being shot ready, working on our fundamentals, stepping to the shot, being able to finish the shot with confidence and shoot the ball with confidence. And all of those things, like to answer your question, is that, we have to be able to rep. We have to be that game, the lights are on is a little bit different. But I'm confident in the guys that are taking the shots. We just got to knock them down. We got to be confident enough to say we're going to knock it down.
Jaquante Harris led the way. Him and Donovan Flamer both with 11 points. Let's focus on Jaquante, and obviously that injury that he had late in the year last year. You still feel like maybe he's getting his legs back. Is that something that you feel good about him and where his place is right now and where he's going? Do you feel like he can get it going here sooner than later?
Yeah, I mean, he's our engine. If anybody that we can really count on consistently to put the ball in the basket, because he's a 3-level scorer.
Yes.
And he's able to get to the free throw line as well. So, he's going to be fine. He didn't kind of struggle a little bit with inconsistent, I would say, on the road trip. But, I was glad to see him come back after being able to sit down with those early 2 fouls, come back in the second half and really be able to put pressure on the defense where you see not only did he score 11 points, we had 4 assists.
Yes.
So he impacted the game and offensively. And that's what Tay does. I mean, he's just, when he's in rhythm, when he's able to kind of probe and and kind of make the right play, that's what he does, man. But again, we got to have others that are capable, not at the clip that Tay is, but they've got to be able to help him be able to make shots. And we had opportunities to be able to make shots, and we just didn't get it done.
One of those first plays and one of those first assists came from Harris to Flamer, that 2-man game. Probably the first shot of the game was a dunk by him. The importance of getting Flamer started early. How big is that for this?
We try. That's one of the things that we try to do. The one thing that our plays, not necessarily they're scripted, but we're going to try to come off a ball screen. We're going to try to come off some post action, and then we're going to try to move you around a little bit without staggering and stuff. So we try to move you around a little bit just to see how the defense is playing you. And Bluefield did a good job of at first, and especially initially, they do a good job of being in gaps where they don't give you a lot of room to drive. That's why you got to be able to move it, attack it, kind of get them in a scramble situation. We settled for those jump shots, and again, when you're not making them, it just basically they're just sitting back and say, hey man, you can you take those shots, we're gonna rebound it, and then we're gonna go back and play offense. And we just didn't put enough heat on them offensively. I don't think we were patient enough offensively, and as a result, you shoot 31% from the field. You can't beat nobody when you shoot like that.
And not only that, Coach, you look at it from long range, 2 of 19 from the three-point line. I believe we've got better shooters than that. And Bluefield State left us open. I don't think too many teams in the CIAA want to leave us open that often as we continue on through the conference. But 2 of 19, not going to get it done. Much better shooting team than that.
We are. But again, a lot of those were, some of them were really good shots. I think, toward the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, we pressed. We could have taken the ball to the basket. We had them in the bonus. Where we could have, got fouled or got a layup and stuff and just chipped away. But these guys, they got to learn that lesson that you can't hit home runs or grand slams all the time. It's okay to hit a single. It's okay to hit a double. It's okay to do a sacrifice bump to move the guy over. You know what I'm saying? Just chip away. Each possession is a life of its own. And again, we have to be able to learn that lesson. You can't get it back in 2 or 3 plays. It's a 40-minute game. And until we learn those lessons, Clay, it's going to be hard for us right now.
As far as what we talk about, Flamer, he came up with some big-time blocks in this contest. But when you look at the final stats inside the paint, Bluefield State led 26-22. They were able to some dribble penetration, able to get a few second chance shots. Is that a little bit of a concern for you as far as we continue on?
It is, because we drill that every day. I mean, that's just being in stance discipline, gap discipline, kind of like what the Bluefield did to us. You know what I mean? They don't allow you to get downhill and get in the paint. And, we just didn't. And then when Donovan goes to block shots, we got guys standing watching on the weak side. When you got to help the helper. You got to help the helper. And when you don't do that, that's what gets their second chance opportunities, because they have guys that are kind of going. We got guys that are watching. Again, you got to be able to learn those lessons there.
We talked about the youth that this team has, and they're growing together, and that's a beautiful thing, but it is that growth. Do you think that has a lot to do with the confidence and the second guessing that's happening right now? Is it the youth, or do you feel like it's just permeating through even some of the upperclassmen that are playing on the floor?
Winning's hard, Clay, at this level, especially in college. I mean, it is, because every possession is so precious. And I think, these guys, when you look at who's actually playing, whether it's Trevor Smith, who's really playing for the first time in college, getting this amount of minutes. Donovan and Kenny obviously are freshmen. Kyrie, coming from another situation. All of this stuff is fairly new. They haven't really been counted on its new roles. Even Joe Thompson this year. Juwan Browder coming back from a knee injury. Terrence Storms. He was basically on the end of the bench last year. But he's somebody that, has done a great job of providing energy and a spark. But, they haven't played this amount of minutes where the life of a basketball game and possessions are just so critical. You got to take good shots. You got to guard. You got to rebound. And these are lessons that we're learning. If we can learn these lessons, and if we can make sure that we can win possessions, stack possessions, defensively and offense, and being able to handle adversity during the game, we got to be able to learn that the minute that you drop your head, you're going to compound that situation by giving up another 2 or 3 field goals. And those are the lessons that you got to learn. One possession at a time, defensively and offensively. Win the possession. And if we can do that and stack them, you'll win the game. But we're learning those lessons now.
One more question here for you, Coach, as we get ready. Obviously, MLK Day Monday, heading over to Norfolk to take on Norfolk State, stepping up to D1, and then coming back to D2 against Lincoln. What are you looking to get out of Monday? Of course, the CIAA is the most important thing, but you got a big matchup coming up on Monday, and you want the team to show out and play well in that one also.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The timing of this game probably isn't the best right now. But it means a lot to the folks at ECSU.
Very much so.
It means, like, you talk about an old CIAA rivalry.
That rivalry.
And obviously, I played in it, and I know what that means to a lot of people. I remember the Vaughan Center in Eccles Hall where we're playing on Monday, just packed. And so It's going to be a sight where and I'm going to tell the kids just to enjoy that experience because, again, we remember Martin Luther King Jr. on that day. And obviously, no school. We're going to have some alums, in the area and even their people.
Yeah.
It's still NSU, ECSU. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the opportunity. I respect, Coach Robert Jones to death. I mean, he's done a tremendous job of actually watching him grow in the business, and he's done a magnificent job with the Spartans. And I know that we got our work cut out for us, but we'll be ready to play on Monday.
Should be a great time to rekindle that little rivalry between Norfolk State and ECSU on Monday, and then back to CIAA play on Wednesday. Of course, the Vikings with a tough loss here against Bluefield State. Final score 57-48. Coach, again, thank you for spending some time talking with us. Looking forward to seeing where the Vikings go, and we will be following them here on the follow-through. Thank you for joining us.